Good morning, Chodesh Tov. Happy Rosh Chodesh Elul. Thanks for joining us for the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha Review. Thursday, August 20th. Today is the first day of Rosh Chodesh Elul, and we're reviewing laws and customs of the 10 days of repentance, the Aseres Yemei Teshuvah. It's proper to observe stringencies during these days, says the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, stringencies that we do not necessarily observe the rest of the year, because we are asking God, may His name be blessed, to deal with us with exceptional kindness. So for us to say, please God, go above and beyond for us, and we're not willing to go above and beyond for God, is a little bit of a lopsided request there. So the example that Kitzur Shulchan Aruch gives is if during the rest of the year one normally eats bread from a non-Jewish bakery, during these days one should be careful to eat only bread baked by a Jew, and we should observe similar stringencies. The example that he's giving is called pas palter, bread baked in commercial bakeries. It was the long before we had commercial bakeries. There was all there was non-Jewish bread and Jewish bread. So if the bread was baked by Jews, you knew it was kosher. Baked by Jews, everything was fine. You knew it was in it. It would be parv, and you'd be able to eat it with meat or dairy as you saw fit. If you actually go to the grocery store nowadays and you look at the ingredients on some of the commercial breads, you'll see that there are all kinds of things in there which we should not be eating by any stretch of the imagination. So to take bread from a non-Jewish baker, that's long been prohibited in Jewish law. However, commercial baked breads, if they are kosher, in other words, we know that we know the list of ingredients that's in there, and it's under supervision that says that the baking trays were not lined with any kind of a non-kosher substance or anything like that. They may not be baked by Jews, but the ingredients in there are kosher. Many authorities permit eating that bread. However, since it doesn't have the additional advantage of being baked by Jews, as the breads are that are baked in many of our, in all of our local bakeries, which are all good, delicious, and easily obtainable in grocery stores and in the bakeries themselves, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is suggesting that is a stringency which, even if we don't adopt it during the rest of the year, we should indeed try our best to follow that and other similar stringencies during these 10 days. He adds that when saying Birkat HaMazon, when saying the benching, the grace after meals, there are some who have the custom of saying Harachaman hu yichadesh aleinu et hashana hazot. Some people say for the entire 10 days of tshuva, of course you're not eating on Yom Kippur, but the 9 days, they say, may the merciful one renew us for a good and sweet year, just like we do. It's in the benching for Rosh Hashanah. So if you have any bencher, a regular bencher, it should have that particular Harachaman in there. Customary, says Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, not to make a wedding, not to make a chuppah during these days. However, right after Yom Kippur, the 11th of Tishrei, is a very auspicious day, according to many opinions, to get married. And on Shabbos Shuvah, we are careful not to call a child up for the maftir. It's possible to call a bar mitzvah boy who's, in the days before they kept such a close track on birth dates, someone who's right around 13, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But we avoid that on Shabbos Shuvah. Some people have the custom not to say Kiddush Levana, the sanctification of the moon, the blessing when we see the moon renewed, until after Yom Kippur, because then everyone's joyful. Whereas before Yom Kippur, everyone is apprehensive about the outcome of the judgment. Others say it's better to sanctify the moon before Yom Kippur in order to add to our merits with the mitzvah. The more mitzvahs you can accrue for yourself before leading into Yom Kippur, how much the better. It depends on the prevailing custom. You will see that we here in our shul, a number of us go outside right after Ma'ariv, after concluding Ma'ariv and Havdalah at the end of Yom Kippur, and we do say the Kiddush Levana then. That's become the custom over here on Bayview Avenue. And furthermore, in a region where esragim, lulavim, and hadassim are for sale, it's the custom of pious people to purchase them ahead of time so that during these days the precious mitzvah may be added to our merits. Again, along with the idea of accruing as many merits, connecting ourselves to as many mitzvahs as possible, to buy a lulav and esrog well in advance of the 10 days of tshuva, even though they're not needed until Sukkot. Hopefully we'll be able to make that available for you this year. Watch the bulletin for notices about that. Now, today is Rosh Chodesh, so we say Hallel, we say Musaf, and tonight, tonight is the second day of Rosh Chodesh. It's the first on the calendar of the month of Elul. We begin saying LeDavid. We begin saying Psalm 27. That is recited after the evening service each night and after the Shacharit service each morning. Very good, very advisable to add in everything positive and good and holy in these days to blanket ourselves in that aura. So strongly suggest for people even who don't necessarily daven Ma'ariv to add the reciting of Psalm 27 twice a day. And if you're interested in adding more things, I have a whole list of suggestions. Please don't hesitate to be in touch. Have a wonderful day, and please join us again tomorrow. Chodesh Tov, Shana Tova.